I welcome you once again in this new session of history, and today's topic is once again the Mauryan Empire. In our last session, we have read about the Mauryan Empire, their three great leaders, Bindusara, Ashoka, and Chandragupta Maurya. We have learned how Chandragupta Maurya established the dynasty of Mauryan Empire with the help of Kautilya, then his son Bindusara, after that Ashoka. From there, Ashoka has won the Kalinga War, where he has changed his mind. He gave up the war and he became the Buddhist, and he began to preach about the Buddhism. He made his Ashoka's Dhamma. Now, we will learn about the king, how he ruled after the Kalinga War. One of the main objects of the Ashoka Dhamma was the happiness and the prosperity in all the subjects. He compared the role of a king to the father who always strives to make the life of the children better. When he was the ruler, when he used to fought, then also he used to look after the his kingdom and all the men of his kingdom. After he gave up the rule, he still loves his all this companion. He loves his uh, countrymen. He served him as a father. So there he was very benevolent king. See, this is the Ashoka pillar in Thailand. This is Ashoka's pillar in Thailand. Ashoka commissioned and construction as roadways, waterways, canals, hospitals, rest houses for the travelers, and other public works also. His official visited people in different parts of the empire to listen their problems and solve them. Ashoka himself toured his kingdom to assess the effect of the measures. He propagated the Buddhism. Ashoka wanted his subjects to follow the principle of Dhamma. He did not impose Dhamma on his subjects. However, he took a number of steps. What were the steps? First, it was the Dharam Shastra. What is Dharam Shastra? Dharam Shastra was a special officer who appointed to propagate the principles of Dhamma among the masses. He used to go city to city, place to place, just to propagate what are the principles of Dharma. Then he his principle of Dhamma was inscribed on Ashoka's edict. It's a very famous. It's an edict on the pillar. There it was written in a Prakrit language. At that time, people used to speak the Prakrit language. He hunted and sacrificed the animals per band. Ashoka constructed many stupas, and he constructed Buddhist monasteries also. Many stupas like Sachi Stupa in Sarnath, he built that. Then he spread Buddhism in the not only in India, he also spread Buddhism in the foreign land like Burma, Afghanistan, Mesopotamia, Syria, China, Tibet, Egypt, Persia, and Macedonia. Even in Sri Lanka also. He sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to propagate the Buddhism. So, in this area from China, Afghanistan, Syria, Tibet, Egypt, Persia, Macedonia, Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, he sent his own son Mahendra and Sanghamitra to propagate about the Buddhism. Now, what are the edicts of Ashoka? We all know that there is a rock pillar, and pillar edicts of Ashoka are spread in throughout the North India as well as in Pakistan. In these inscriptions, the edicts proclaim that Ashoka is to believe that Buddhist concepts of Dhamma, his efforts to spread Buddhism, his moral and religious faith, his principles, and his social and animal welfare program. Everything was written in these edicts. And this was written in Prakrit, Sanskrit, Greek, and Aramaic languages. These inscriptions Madhya Pradesh, were found in Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. Outside India were found in Peshawar, Pakistan, near Kandahar, Afghanistan, and in Nepal. Now we will read about the Mauryan administration. The Mauryan administration was considered as one of the best ever during that ancient times, where Mauryan kings were by bringing almost entire Indian subcontinent under one rule, and they provide a political stability. This resulted in an area of economic development, social harmony, religious tolerance, and spread of the knowledge and progress in sciences. They have an administration division also, where Pataliputra was the capital of the Mauryan Empire and which was divided into four provinces. And the capital of these four provinces were Tosali in east, Ujjain in west, Suvarnanagari in south, and Taxila in north. So the capitals were, first was Tosali, it was for the east, Ujjain for the west, Suvarnanagari for the south, and Taxila for the north. See, this is the edict rock of Ashoka. It was after the Kalinga war. Further, he divided into district, and these districts were known as Nagars. Nagars means towns, and Gram means villages. The administrator of the empire was primarily supervised by two types of the government. One is the central government and another is the provincial government. As you know that in India also at present also there is a central government as well as in the state government. Central government, where the king was the supreme power and he headed all the central government, which was controlled by the empire himself. He also has a supreme head of the army and the chief justice of the kingdom, and the king utilized the service of Mantri Parishad, that is the council of ministers. Kumars and the officials were called Mahamatras. They were the officials. And the provincial government where Kumars were the head of the government in the provinces. They governed the province as a king's representative. They were assisted by the council of ministers and Mahamatras, who were also the head of the district. The village had an Graminis as an head. Governance of the capital. Special attentions were paid to the administration of the capital Pataliputra. 6 departments governed by individual committees were entrusted with the administration. So, in the capital, it was in the Pataliputra where 6 departments were entrusted for the administration, and each of the committee consists of the 5 members. That means 5 members in one committee, and it was divided into 6. That means 5 into 6, 30 men were deployed to ensure the governance run from the capital. There was an army and spy system also. Army and the spy system where Mauryan king maintained their large, well-equipped army. They have an infantry, they have an cavalry, and also they have an elephant, chariots, and navy also. Apart from that, they have a great justice system. The king whose court of the Pataliputra was the highest court of justice. Judicial courts were also set up in all the part of the country. These provided justice in the masses. After that, their society and their economic conditions were very well, as it is said in by the Megasthenes in his book Indica, that there were the seven classes of the modern society, and these were the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, councillors, peasants, artisans, and shepherds. These are the seven classes, and the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas were the highest status, and all other classes lived peacefully and they were free to practice any religious. The prosperous of the economics, as per the Greek ambassador Megasthenes, that the prosperity of the people in the Maurya rule, he writes that Indians dressed in a bright and rich colors. They were liberal and they used to wear many types of ornament. Apart from that, agriculture was the main occupation, where Mauryan Empire and a land revenue was the chief source of income. Therefore, farmers were provided irrigated facilities. During that time also, they used to get the loan, they got used the incentives for increase in the agricultural productions. And some of the occupations were agricultural implements, trade through the water routes, and mining and forestry. They also contributed to the prosperity of the modern economy. Takshila, Pataliputra, Ujjain were the important trading center. Trades were carried through the foreign countries like China, Rome, Egypt, and Sri Lanka. Lion capital has a four line back to back. There were the four lion, and it is the symbol of our symbol of India. And another masterpiece of the Mauryan art is the stupa of Sanchi. Sanchi Stupa is now UNESCO's World Heritage Site. Sanchi Stupa in Sarnath. And the four rock cut Barabar caves at Barabar Hills near the Gaya in Bihar represent another masterpiece of the Mauryan architecture. These caves were constructed during the reign of Ashoka for the Ajivikas. Among sculptures, the best example is Yakshi found in Didarganj near Patna. So, you have seen the architecture. It is the Sarnath and it is a Rishi cave. This one is a Rishi cave. So Sarnath in Uttar Pradesh. It is now one of the heritage by the UNESCO. But later on, the decline of the Mauryan Empire after the death of Ashoka, they have last king was King Birahadatra. He proved that he was the last Mauryan Empire. After the death of Ashoka, Mauryan Empire ruled for 50 years. And the reason for their decline were his last king was being murdered by his own commander-in-chief. His name was Pushyamitra Sangha, who led down the dynasty of Sangha dynasty. Sangha dynasty was led by Pushyamitra. Pushyamitra was the general of the Brihadistra. The reason was Ashoka's successors were very much incompetent. They were not efficient to rule like Ashoka. Other second point is their control over the distant area of the empire slowly declined, and the large Mauryan army became weak and inefficient as the state treasury did not have money needed for the proper maintenance of the army. And there was an insufficient kings and weak army encouraged the provincial governor to launch revolts and declare themselves as an independent and central government. So these were the reasons why the Mauryan Empire declined. By seeing this, the last emperor King Brihadratha was being murdered by his own commander in chief. His name was Pushyamitra Sangha. And after this Mauryan Empire, Sangha dynasty was established by Pushyamitra Sangha. So I hope you all of understand this lesson very well and read this lesson, follow this video very again. We will once again meet in our next session with a new topic or the new lesson. Till then, have a nice day and take care of your health.